Our next speaker will be Brennan, and next up after that will be Mr. Harold Weinrich. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm very honored to appear in front of the board. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Brennan. I'm employed by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers as an international representative. Part of my duties as an employee of the IBEW is to assist workers who want to form a union at the workplace. From 2004 through 2006, I assisted employees of the Exelon Nuclear Corporation in their efforts to obtain union representation at two nuclear power plants of Philadelphia, the Limerick and Peach Bottom plants. Unfortunately, Exelon Nuclear was able to use the board's current rules on representation cases to delay the election vote for 5 months. And Exelon used these 5 months to commit unfair labor practices and engaged in other conduct that rendered a free and fair election impossible, as the board ruled later. When the Exelon Nuclear employees filed their petition in November 2004, they turned in authorization cards from 65% of the employees in the proposed bargaining unit. 5 months later, the 655 employees who voted rejected union representation by 2 votes. The full scope of the employer's misconduct in those 5 months is set forth in the board's decision ordering a rerun election at 347 NLRB 815. But I just want to mention a few examples here. First, Exelon threatened employees for attending the hearings under subpoena from the union. Second, Exelon threatened at least one union supporter with loss of his job. And third, the company used the services of one of yesterday's witnesses, the so-called impartial consultant Oliver Bell, to tell employees they would not get a favorable contract even if they chose union representation. The board-ordered rerun election did not occur until 2 years after the election petition was filed. By that time, delay had done even further damage, and the gap widened to 43 votes. So this is how Exelon Nuclear delayed the initial election of 5 months. Exelon got the initial hearing postponed to accommodate its attorney. Then the company showed up at the rescheduled hearing on December 8th without fixed positions on who was in or out of the proposed unit. In the end, only 2 issues were litigated: the supervisory status of its control room operators and lead plant technicians. And the total number of employees at these 2 issues of classification was far less than 20% of the proposed unit. No testimony was actually taken until January 3rd, 2005, a full 6 weeks after the election petition was filed. The hearing took only 6 actual days, but was spread out on non-consecutive days and did not end until January 18th, 2005. Both parties filed briefs. The regional director issued her decision on March 31st, 2005, and the election was held on May 5th, 2005. Under the board's proposed rules, I believe the election would have been far more timely because, number one, the employer would have been held to stating its position at the opening of the hearing in early December. Number 2, the hearing, if it occurred at all, would have been run on 6 consecutive business days. And number 3, the parties could have argued their positions on the last hearing day, and a decision would have been rendered more quickly. In the alternative, because less than 20% of the unit was involved, the employees could have had their first election and argued about the supervisory issues afterwards. In closing, I would like to say that in 25 years of trying to help employees exercise their right to organize, it has been my experience that employees who don't want their employees to unionize always manipulate the board's R-case procedures to delay the vote. Then employers use the delay time to threaten employees and weaken support for union representation. And employers are not afraid of being found in violation of the law for election misconduct because they know that the only penalty is a rerun election, which will not take place until many months or even years later. Finally, the statistics on rerun election, as borne out by this case, are against the employees who want a union representation. The proposed rule will result in a more free and fair election system. Thank you very much for your time.
I thank you for being here with us today. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's been suggested that we take a break right now, so if you would all be back here in 15 minutes, we'll start promptly. Don't forget to take your badge and your badge and number with you, and we will see you back in 15 minutes.